On this week's episode of BJ in the Morning, we're going to talk about movies and shows based on true events. Let's go. Welcome to BJ in the Morning. I'm Juan.
And I'm Brendan.
And today, we're talking about movies and shows based on true events.
Are we now?
We are.
We've only been talking about it outside of the podcast.
And I'm
for a
super
while.
pumped about it.
Are you? I can't tell.
I actually have to talk like this because my headphones are kind of pissing me off.
Yeah.
And we talked about it for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, trying to figure it out, trying to see what's going on. And Juan was trying to blame me.
No, not necessarily.
The settings.
Not necessarily. Anyways, if you haven't noticed, we got a new theme song.
We got a brand new, never before heard by anyone but
you heard it
us.
here first.
We got our own theme song. We should phrase it that way.
Our own.
Yeah, like it's are you good?
It doesn't want to turn. It don't want to work.
Well, Juan is currently messing with his mic.
Tell him about the theme song.
The theme song. So yeah, we have a friend of the show who makes music and was gracious. Is that the word? Gracious?
Gracious?
Gracious enough?
Nice enough?
Awesome enough?
Phenomenal
Badass enough to write a theme song for us for BJ in the Morning. It is for us. It's not from a website like let's face it, our other theme song was from Epidemic Sound. Shout out. We love that theme song so much.
They helped us out for years.
And they still do. We use their music all over the place. This is not a sponsored segment. But if they wanted to sponsor us,
we'll go back to the old theme song.
Probably not. But yeah, big shout out to Matt Graham, who helped us out a lot with this. It was really fun, kind of bouncing ideas back and forth and getting the final product, and here it is. That was it.
I love it.
The one you heard before. No, we're not going to play it again until the next episode, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, big shout out to Matt Graham. Go follow him on Instagram. He's got a new song coming out pretty soon with his band. So go check him out. I'm pretty sure his Instagram's Mattstagram, and that's Graham like Grham. But yeah, go follow him, shout him out, tell him that we sent you. If you want, you don't have to, but
you do have to. Actually.
You do actually.
You do have to.
And then yeah, let us know in the comments and everything if you like the new theme song. I know it's different. It's a big change after 2 years of BJ in the Morning, plus the other time that we did BJ in the Morning,
right?
With the same song, and now all of a sudden, it's different.
New year, new me, I like to say.
New year, new BJ.
New year, new us.
Us, yeah.
Us, yeah.
Technically, this is the start of season 2. So every 100 episodes, we're going to do a new season. If probably not, it'll probably be shorter than that. But anyways, let's jump into our topic for the day, Juan. Unless you have anything you want to say about the theme song, of course.
No. I love it. That's all I got to say.
It's really catchy.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It gets stuck in your head.
It's been stuck in my head.
You've been ready for it.
I'm ready.
It already played. Do you want me to play it again?
I would like you to, but let's not do that.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Let's talk about movies and TV shows based on and or inspired by true events.
And this particular list that we have is inspired by, you know what?
He took the headphones off.
They're coming off.
He took the headphones off.
And don't mind the hair. Because
it was windy today.
it was windy. I took a shower. I didn't do my hair. It's a little flat.
It's not that bad.
It's okay.
It's not that bad.
Anyways.
The center part is probably what will throw people off.
Anyways. We got this idea for this episode, you know, because of our previous episode when we talked about Squid Game.
And the alleged true story.
Alleged true stories,
Yeah.
blah, 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 all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then last week I had a handful of episodes or a handful of shows based on true events ready to go.
Yeah.
Just in case we didn't have enough to talk about.
We had plenty.
And apparently...
Yeah, go back and listen to it if you haven't.
Go back and listen to the last 48 minutes of our last episode because we talked about it for the whole time, the whole episode.
It was crazy. And we did a ton of research.
Which is good.
Not like us.
Yeah.
The start of season 2.
What's going on?
Season 2,
What
baby.
is going on?
Season 2,
Research?
baby.
New song?
The funny thing is we had the song last episode, but we were like, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Now.
No.
And now we're going to get to your list from the previous week.
Finally.
You have TV shows, I'm guessing?
I have TV shows and you have movies.
Yes, because I realized I don't watch a lot of TV shows that are based on real events.
Right.
Except for like Baby Reindeer.
Right, and that's not on our list.
Not on our list. We've talked about it
before.
Like recently, like within the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, and we're not going to talk about it again.
We might. But that depends. On a lot of different factors.
A full breakdown on it?
Full breakdown each episode. But yeah, do you want to start out with your...
With a TV show?
Yeah, you want to start with a TV show?
Sure.
Is it one I've seen?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
You just said you don't watch TV shows
Yeah.
based on true events.
Probably not.
So this one is The Act.
The what?
The Act.
The Act.
Yeah, The Act.
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 Okay.
It's true crime
Mm-hmm.
starring Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette, love her.
And Joey King.
Okay.
And this is the story of Gypsy Blanchard. You know who that is?
Gypsy Rose.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Yeah.
So the premise is this series follows the story of Gypsy Blanchard, played by Joey King, who uses a wheelchair due to an illness growing up. Her relationship with her overprotective mother, Patricia Arquette, begins to sour as she increasingly insists on her independence.
Mm-hmm.
She rebels as her mother, who dedicated her life to her care, grows more protective, controlling, and abusive.
Mm.
The relationship turns even more toxic as Gypsy discovers many secrets. She grew up believing that she was sick with cancer, but discovers that she was not sick at all.
Spoilers.
Her mother, Dee Dee, successfully deceived not only Gypsy, but her family, friends, and medical professionals into believing her child was ill. And as the story goes on, I'm not going to read from that anymore, but as the story goes on, Gypsy rebels. She finds a boyfriend. She starts exploring her adulthood and sexuality and all that. And then they plan to kill her mother.
Uh-huh.
They successfully kill her mother.
Dang.
And Gypsy goes to prison.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to prison, sentenced to prison for 10 years.
Uh-huh.
And just recently got out of prison, I believe in 2023.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
After 8 years, after serving 8 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So, plans to kill her mom, kills her mom, goes to prison.
Yeah, it's premeditated.
Yeah.
That
I can't remember, because I have seen the show, but I can't remember if she killed her mom or if the boyfriend killed her mom. I think it was the boyfriend.
I don't know this story, like the real story or the show.
Yeah.
I do love Patricia Arquette and Joey King. I think they're both really good actors.
Uh-huh.
But I've never watched the show. Do you know if like the show took a lot of liberties with the story or anything like that? Like, did it follow it pretty closely or?
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of things on this story,
Mhm.
and they did the true crime documentary with Gypsy Rose
Mm-hmm.
from prison, where they talk about it, and a lot of this show lines up with the way Gypsy told the story.
So it's like her story
Her
through
story.
her words. Okay.
Essentially, we obviously don't have the mother's
Mhm.
opinion.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a really bad situation,
Mhm.
and a lot of people took Gypsy's side.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of like cheering for her and a lot of appreciation or love in social media standards for her release and her story coming out and everything like that. It was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's my first show on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally liked it. They also made a movie on it. I think it's called Mommy Dearest.
I don't know that one either.
And it has like a Lifetime movie vibes, but it was pretty good.
Lifetime movie vibes totally make me never want to watch it.
Watch it.
No. Yeah, I out of like 10 though, what do you rate that show with Patricia Arquette and Joey King?
I would rate it. Oof. I would rate it a 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Out of 10? Nice.
Yeah, because it's not my favorite on my list, but it's not bad either. I
Gotcha.
feel like when we talked about real stories, this is the first one that popped up into my head.
Gotcha.
We have a guest. We have a guest. Let's see.
No, she's not gonna come. She's not gonna do it. She's camera shy.
I have to sit back like this.
Juan's cat is here in the room with us.
She likes to play, but I think she wants to get out.
Yeah, but that's too bad. You told her to leave, and she didn't take the opportunity
she didn't,
before we
like
started
an
recording.
hour ago.
Sweet man, I'm gonna start talking about a movie I have on my list. If that's cool with you,
Sure.
Yeah. So the first movie on my list is like a biographical movie. It's called Man on the Moon.
Biographical.
Biographical. Yeah.
Got it.
It's because you don't have headphones on. And
Yeah.
I turned away from you, so you couldn't read my mouth when I was speaking.
Man on the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the one? Is this the one about the stand-up comic?
Yeah, Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, with Jim Carrey.
Played by Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, it is a biographical comedy drama about the life and career of Andy Kaufman. It explores his unconventional comedic style, his rise to fame on Taxi, his infamous wrestling antics, and ultimately death at 35 from lung cancer. And Jim Carrey, as we said, plays Kaufman. And you've probably seen the documentary or heard about the story of how he got really, really into character where it kind of became a problem.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But yeah, the film is based on the life of Andy Kaufman and his strange but groundbreaking performances. And it was kind of like a surreal and bizarre approach to comedy that he kind of brought to the table. But it went over his early career where he gained like attention for stand-up routines and impersonations, particularly his foreign guy, which became his character on Taxi. His professional wrestling feud. So he staged a controversial intergender wrestling championship. And it caused this huge feud between him and Jerry Lawler. Yeah. But a lot of Kaufman's life was kind of strange and out there. No one really knew if it was a bit or not, how he was and how he behaved. But I really love this movie. Jim Carrey's approach to the character was kind of insane and kind of wild. And I've seen this movie a handful of times. And I just love Jim Carrey. And I think the story of Andy Kaufman is kind of kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched the Jim and Andy documentary on Netflix, it's pretty good. I really liked it a lot. And this movie did get Jim Carrey his a Golden Globe. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you gotta think about Jim Carrey's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were offered a role of a stand-up comedian that you probably looked up to,
Mm-hmm.
You'd probably want to do the best you possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And if his way of doing it the best he could is staying in character 24/7, more power to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
But the way that he went about it is like really intense.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people got a little concerned about Jim Carrey back then.
But he's not the only person that has taken this route. Like Shia LaBeouf has been in that situation.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's been in that situation.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you really have to be that intense all the time, even not on set?
Yeah, that's a tough thing to tackle on a side quest like we're into right now. So maybe it's something we got to dive into on another episode someday. Method actors.
Next episode.
Maybe not the next one because that's a lot of research, but let's hit them with another TV show. You got another one lined
TV show?
up?
Sure do.
You sure do?
I sure do.
Well, yeah, hit me with it first, and then when they hear the recording, no, not literally hit me, but
all right. This next one is The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Never watched
American Crime Story.
Oh, that's a long title.
Yeah, so I think like the show's name is American Crime Story, and then the season is The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Gotcha. Never watched it.
You never watched it?
No.
Dude, it was huge.
No, I know. I just didn't watch it.
Why?
I don't like Cuba Gooding Jr. He's not a good person.
Okay.
So I don't support things that he's in.
All right.
Isn't like David Schwimmer in it?
He is.
I like him. I'd support him.
It stars Cuba Gooding Jr.,
Right.
Christian Clemenson.
I know the name. I don't know the face.
David Schwimmer, John Travolta, Courtney Vance, Bruce Greenwood, Sarah Paulson, Kenneth Choi, Sterling Brown. Let me read you a small synopsis of it, which obviously we know what it's about.
Yeah.
But this is the first season of American Crime Story. So
Have they done another one?
There's been more.
Okay.
I don't know what about.
Okay. You just know this one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it revolves around the murder trial of O.J. Simpson, as well as the combination of prosecution, confidence, defense, witnesses, and the Los Angeles Police Department's history with African American people. So it's based on a true story of the trial, everything that happened, the whole car chase that stopped the entire world.
Right, everyone was watching it on TV.
And
the white Bronco.
And yeah, I think I don't really know what all the stuff with Cuba Gooding Jr. And we don't have to get into it. But when I watched it, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as what I know from what happened with O.J. Simpson at that time, he did a good job.
Yeah.
A really good job portraying him.
He played O.J.?
He played O.J.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
If the glove fits.
You must have quit.
But yeah, I mean that's all I really have to say about it. You know, Cuba Gooding Jr. Portrayed him very well. From like what I've seen. Obviously, I wasn't alive then.
Yeah.
But yeah, good show. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Oh, not 10 out of 10. I would give it a 7.8.
Give it minus 0.5 for...
7.3.
I didn't rate
Math.
I didn't rate Man on the Moon.
Oh yeah. What is your rating?
I'm gonna
on
give it
Man
a
on the Moon?
6. It's not my
A
favorite
6?
Jim Carrey movie, but it is a really great movie, and I just think the plot's a little meh. You know,
American Crime Story. I want to see
You're
what
gonna see
other what other seasons they have.
cool. I'm gonna pull up my notes for the next thing.
Impeachment.
Uh huh.
Let's see.
The internet is interneting.
It's going real slow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The assassination of a Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, that has a lot to do with presidential stuff.
Yeah, President
Crazy.
Clinton.
Crazy. Those are out?
They're out.
Wow.
I think they're out on
Netflix?
Netflix.
Wow.
Fuck.
Okay, there goes our rating.
Sorry,
right
sorry.
there.
Okay, so season 1 was The People vs. O.J. Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
The next one was The Assassination of Gianni Versace, which I started to watch. And I didn't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
The next one was Impeachment. So the Clinton Lewinsky scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's it so far?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't watched any of them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways.
I know the Versace story just because I listened to an episode of Last Podcast on the Left about it.
Versace?
Yeah. It was a good one. It was a crazy story. You know what else is a crazy story? That's also true crime?
Uh-huh.
The Zodiac Killer.
Mm.
So on my list, I have Zodiac. That's my next thing on the list.
Okay.
How about a segue?
How about that?
How about that? So yeah, Zodiac, which is from 2007, which feels like forever ago, but also doesn't.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this movie didn't come out that long ago, but
Is this the one with Robert Downey's Jr.'s?
Robert Downey's Jr.'s, yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Continue.
yeah, directed by the one and only David Fincher. Zodiac is a crime thriller based on the real-life investigation into the Zodiac Killer, a notorious and still unidentified serial murderer who terrorized San Francisco Bay Area from the late 1960s to the early 1970s. And it focuses on the three characters, which is Robert Graysmith, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who's a cartoonist for the San Fran Chronicle, who becomes obsessed with solving the case. You got Paul Avery, played by Robert Downey's Jr.',
Robert Downey's Jr.'s?
a crime reporter covering the Zodiac Killers, and David Toshi, played by Mark Ruffalo.
Right.
Look at all
I
these
forgot about Mark
MCU
Ruffalo.
characters in this movie.
Crazy.
Who's a detective leading the investigation. So the film goes over their efforts over decades, exploring the obsession, frustration, and the toll the case took on their personal lives, as the Zodiac Killer taunts police and the media with cryptic letters and ciphers. So it is based on the real-life Zodiac Killer case and the book by Robert Graysmith. So it's his account of the investigation and everything. So it goes over the killer, the actual killings, the ciphers and the letters, all the suspects, and the unsolved mystery. So it is touted to be like one of the most meticulously researched films about true crime, but they did change some of the timeline stuff on it, and they focused more on Graysmith's perspective because it was based on his book. So, but I really like this movie. Have you seen it recently?
I've seen it.
You've seen it once or twice, maybe once.
I've seen it a couple times, but I have watched it recently.
Yeah, I think I watched it
recently, as in the last
year or so.
year or so. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to get into some true crime movies, threw this one on because I had never watched it.
Yeah.
But I think I love David Fincher and his work, so this was an easy pick for me.
Well, grade A cast too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's that.
But yeah, the performances by Gyllenhaal and Ruffalo and Robert Downey's Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.'s.
They were all they were all given high praise for their performances, which is really cool. But it wasn't a box office smash. But it did become one of the best films about true crime. And it's like one of David Fincher's like the movies that you would put on your list if you're watching his movies. So.
Yeah. I recently watched a Netflix series on the Zodiac Killer.
Oh yeah.
Called This Is the Zodiac Speaking. And it's a 3-part series.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
It's a documentary, and it's crazy to think about this stuff because the Zodiac Killer was a real person being a real person in the real world outside of being the Zodiac Killer. Yeah. So this tells the story on how, like, you know, these family was friends with the Zodiac Killer, and they would let their kids just go off with this man.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for you if you ever want to watch it or if any of you want to watch it. But it is just so interesting to me to hear about, I guess.
Yeah.
The other side of the Zodiac Killer, which, like, all the things that he did in his real life that kind of puts the pieces together too. It's just crazy.
I think a lot of like serial killer documentaries and like stories and things like that really try to express both sides. But there's also, once you find out who did it, it's like putting the pieces together, like John Wayne Gacy, his whole story where he was wealthy and powerful and like owned a business. I don't know if he was wealthy per se, but like he knew people, you know.
Yeah.
And he was not like hiding in his basement, you know. And
it was that's also kind of what made it easier for him to manipulate people.
Yeah.
Same with the Zodiac Killer. Easier. Have you noticed all these serial killers and crazy people are very charismatic people, very loving, fun-going people?
Yeah, I'm glad that I hate everything and don't want to talk to people because there you go. That's how you know I'm not, you know? I'm
right.
like, I'd rather stay home.
But are you, though?
Are you? But is she hot, though?
Don't move! Don't move! We've been posing as each other's friends for the last 20 years.
Yeah, this is a front. This is actually our alibi for every night of the week that we record. This was recorded 16 months ago.
Yeah. But if you get a chance, you know, a good 3 hours to spare, I would really suggest watching that.
Yeah, I usually have 3 hours to spare.
And just to be completely transparent, there is no documentaries on my list.
Yeah, we shied away from documentaries.
There's so many.
Because every documentary is based on real events.
Yeah.
It's based on true stories. It's based on real things. Every documentary is a real thing that really happened because it's real.
It's a good one.
Every documentary.
I didn't know that, by the way.
What?
It's a joke.
You didn't know that documentaries can lie?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. Anyways.
Have you seen Spinal Tap?
No, actually.
It's a mockumentary.
Oh.
Or Pop Star Never Stop Popping.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
That's a documentary.
It's a real it's a historical documents.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
So the next one is also about a serial killer.
Whoa.
And it is pretty recent. Came out September 21st, 2022. Dahmer.
Okay.
And the whole title is Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer Story.
Is that the one? Talk about it. Go for it. Talk about
it. This one stars Evan Peters. And this is a story that focuses on the life of Jeffrey Dahmer and how he became one of the most notorious serial killers in America.
I did watch this one.
This one was phenomenal. By the way, you didn't rate Zodiac Killer.
No, did I not? 8.
8 out of 10? Okay. This one, I give an 8.5 out of 10. I'm gonna
Right
rate
off the
it
bat?
now. Right
Yeah.
off the bat, I'm gonna rate it now. It is
It's an 8 for me, dog.
all right, dog. Evan Peters,
Yeah, he's great.
he is such a good actor.
And he's got that like chameleon quality, you know,
Yeah.
where he can really sink into the role.
Sink into any role that he wants, because he's done comedic roles, he's done goofy roles, he's done serious
Yeah.
drama thriller roles
That messed him up for a little bit.
Yeah,
Because I saw those stories where he was just like kind of scared about playing that role for so long. So
I liked how, and this wasn't really Evan Peters, it was the way it was made, how intense it got at points to where you felt like you were in that room with them. Like, one of the least scary parts but most intense parts of the show, when he, spoiler alert, feeds the lady the sandwich.
Yeah.
And he's just watching her eat it, knowing that it has things you don't want to eat in there.
Yeah.
So intense, dude. And it just gave me chills.
Yeah. And I will say on one side of it, like, it is a great show. It's shot well. It's acted very well. It's intense, like you said. It's scary at points. There was a lot of pushback about the show just because people were loving it so much, that it is real events that happened. It is real things that happened. And like, there's this whole conversation going on now about like glamorizing serial killers for entertainment. But when I watched it, I almost felt like I was watching a documentary. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't once where I was like, wow, this is great in that way, right? It was more like, wow, this is greatly scary. Like, this is terrifying, that this is things that happened. Like, that's what went through my head watching it. It was not like, oh my God, I love this character. No, it was, I'm terrified that people like this exist.
True. And I felt that way as well. But when I say that it's great, like, I mean, it was made.
It was
great.
made very well.
It was executed. Not properly, but
most
in
of them
a
were
way
executed
to
properly.
make me.
Sorry, that was bad.
What did you say?
So most of them were executed improperly. Sorry, I just got to keep it light, man. It gets dark talking about serial killer stuff. I lost you, huh? Your whole train of thought's gone.
Yeah.
No, the show was executed very well. They
Yeah.
did great. Cinematography, acting, music, score, the whole vibe of it made sense and it worked.
But
And
it did make me like eerie and just like,
you had to take a shower after each episode.
yeah.
Like a long, scalding hot shower to get any kind of vibes off of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. I felt that way.
But I gave it an 8.5 for being executed properly.
Yeah.
Like you kind of ruined the moment when you said we're dramatized, or no. What is glamorizing
I know
serial killers.
I wasn't trying to.
Oh, you ruined my vibe on that one, dude.
Why? Because now you're thinking about it.
Well, now I'm thinking, oh yeah, I love this show. I loved it.
You can love it.
I loved it. All right.
Why are you yelling?
I don't have headphones on to let me know how yell I'm yelling.
How yell I'm.
How yell I'm louding. Okay. Anyways.
You know when I get heated and you get mad at me for getting heated on here?
No.
Now.
Oh.
Now. Calm.
Anyways.
Should we take a U-turn to something a little more chill?
Sure.
A little more chill?
Sure.
So I want to go to this movie from the year 2000. Long time ago. It's called Almost Famous. Have you seen this movie?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Cameron Crowe directed it. And it's a semi-autobiographical coming-of-age story, which goes over Cameron Crowe's time as a what's the word I'm looking for? Journalist for the Rolling Stones, or the Rolling Stone magazine.
Right.
Rolling Stone magazine.
Not the man.
Not the band. So it's about a 15-year-old aspiring journalist who is given the dream assignment by Rolling Stone to tour with an up-and-coming rock band named Stillwater as he navigates the chaotic world of rock and roll, forming bonds with band members and groupies while trying to keep his journalistic integrity intact. So the film is heavily inspired by Cameron Crowe's own experience as a teenage journalist for the Rolling Stone magazine in the 1970s. So William Miller is based on Cameron Crowe. Crowe was 16 when he began writing for Rolling Stone, touring with bands like the Allman Brothers Band, Led Zeppelin, and Leonard Skinner. Russell Hammond, who's the guitarist for Stillwater, is probably most likely based on Greg Allman of the Allman Brothers Band, but probably mixed with a couple other members from other bands. Stillwater, the band, is definitely just all the 1970s bands.
It's fictional.
Most of it's fictional because they changed it to take it away from the specific bands, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's based on his life, but dramatized heavily. And I almost wasn't going to put it on the list. I took another movie off of the list because it was kind of a similar vibe, but this one was more directly correlated with somebody's life events.
Yeah.
But I really love this movie. This is honestly one of my top favorite movies. It did win an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, and it's often considered a love letter to rock and roll of the 70s. And then the line "I am a golden god," which you've probably heard before, from this movie. And you've probably seen clips of the bus scene where they're all singing Tiny Dancer together after like the band's kind of like at each other's throats for so long, and then this song kind of brings them back together. So
I'm not sure.
I would say that you should watch this movie. If you have never seen it, it's pretty long, unfortunately. That's the only thing for me where I'm like, I can't just throw it on like before bed because it's pretty long. But it's awesome. Like, it's great. The music's great. The whole time period. I didn't write down any of the actors, but there's a lot of like memorable faces, like people that you definitely would recognize. Like I think
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson, yeah, she plays Penny Lane, who is one of the groupies in the film. So I think if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. I'd give it a 9 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
A 9.
A 9.
Oof.
And I think I only have one more thing on my list after that. So I'm gonna let you take it away to talk about the next show.
Sure. So the next one I have 2.
Okay.
And one we could talk about very briefly.
Okay. You go. I'll follow.
And we want to preface this by saying that we don't really have opinions about religion and stuff like that, but this next show has something to do with religion.
Okay.
It's called Under the Banner of Heaven.
I've heard of it. I think I remember seeing trailers for it.
And it stars Andrew Garfield.
Right, that's the one.
And this show is so intense.
Is that on Apple?
It might have been. I watched it on Hulu.
It was Hulu. Yeah, no, you're right. I knew it wasn't Netflix or Max or anything like that. So.
Yeah. So this is an American true crime drama television miniseries created by Dustin Lance Black, based on the 2003 nonfiction book by John Crowker. I'm assuming I'm saying that correctly.
Can I see?
Crocker?
Krakauer?
Krakauer?
Krakauer.
Crocker.
Well, I don't know.
Krakauer.
Okay, anyways, continue.
About the case.
Just go with his first name, like you know him.
About John.
About John.
Yeah, just John.
Just John.
Yeah, my friend John.
Krakauer.
About the case of brothers Ron and Dan Lafferty, who killed their sister-in-law and young daughter in 1984. This series came out April 28th in 2022. And Andrew Garfield is investigating a brutal murder and its connections to the Church of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Mormons. So, I know I read that wrong, but I was leaving out certain parts because we don't want to get too...
We ain't trying to ruffle no feathers.
Yeah, we're not going to ruffle no feathers. I mean, if that's your church... That's cool.
If it's not your church and you go to a different church,
that's also cool. But the things that happen in the show, I don't know if you want me to spoil it or not.
Yeah, it's been out for 2 years. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so the things that happen in the show is like, there's the way of the Latter-day Saints now,
mm-hmm.
and then the way of the Latter-day Saints then.
Mm-hmm.
Way back then.
LDS. It makes it easier.
Okay,
to say.
sure. Yeah. So like the LDS church back then
mm-hmm.
did some crazy stuff, allegedly. And so the brothers,
mm-hmm.
they want everything to be that way. The
mm-hmm.
way that it was, the way that they heard, the way that they read.
Allegedly.
In like the original book, allegedly, that they found.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot of crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
Like they want like obedience from
mm-hmm.
their wife and
mm-hmm.
children, and which is part of the reason why the sister-in-law got murdered.
Mm-hmm.
But man, just seeing like Andrew Garfield struggle with like, you can tell like in the show he's struggling with like his own life and then being a detective and then seeing like this family involved. It's just, Andrew Garfield is such a good actor
mm-hmm.
to where you actually feel kind of bad for him, not kind of, you feel bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him struggle a lot through this whole series. And if you like true crime drama, I highly recommend. It's not as brutal and aggressive as, like the other shows that I've mentioned,
mm-hmm.
but it's definitely worth a watch.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. What'd you give a rating to?
I'd also give it an 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid rating.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you want to talk about your last?
Yeah, and then I wanted to just interject with another one at the tail end that I didn't do any research on, but I just want to mention it because I watched it last night.
Honorable mentions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to briefly get into this one, which is The Wolf of Wall Street. Look how quickly I got into it. From 2013. Directed by Martin Scorsese.
Great.
It follows Jordan Belfort, a stockbroker who rises to immense wealth in the 1980s and 90s
mm-hmm.
through fraudulent schemes. The film chronicles his hedonistic lifestyle, marked by excess, drugs, and corruption, and his eventual downfall.
Mm-hmm.
So it is based on Jordan Belfort's memoir of the same name. Key aspects of the story, like Stratton Oakmont, real thing that happened. The lifestyle that Jordan lives, spending it on yachts, cars, drugs, parties, real.
Mm-hmm.
The criminal charges in the 90s, he was arrested and sentenced to 22 months in prison for fraud and money laundering. And then there was most of the characters were based on true, like, real people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the movie's all about Jordan Belfort and his rise and fall. And I think a lot of people watch this movie and they see it as like, oh, this guy is so good and so awesome. But like, it's a crime movie.
Yeah.
It's about a guy taking advantage of the little people
mm-hmm.
and like pyramid schemes type of deal. And like the, what's it called? It's like the pump and dump.
Pump and dump.
Yeah, pump and dump. penny stocks, or like really breaking the system and taking advantage of it illegally, basically, and getting away with it until he doesn't. The cast is awesome, right? We got DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, other people that are awesome in it that I can't
John
think.
Hamm?
Is he in it? Matthew McConaughey? I don't think John Hamm.
McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Is John Hamm in it?
I don't remember, dude.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up while I'm just finishing off. But yeah, it really did put like a spotlight on Jordan Belfort's life, like really glamorizing his lifestyle. And I think a lot of people missed the point of the movie. Yes, it's awesome. It looks fun. It looks great. Like seeing all of these lavish things and the yachts and the cars and the drugs and the parties and everything like that. It seems awesome. But I think the movie kind of just dipped down when it was him getting arrested. And it really didn't go through like what happens after you get caught for doing illegal things. So yeah, that being said, this movie's amazing. Like it's awesome. It's really great. I think this is one of those movies that DiCaprio should have gotten an award for that he later got for a movie that I don't think deserved it. The Revenant. Yeah. He puts his all into this. Like honestly, like the scene where he's climbing the stairs, but his body's not working.
He's drugged out.
Yeah. One of the funniest scenes ever.
Yeah.
And his struggle in his face alone, you're like, dang, this is insane.
And you know what's probably like, I don't know if it was that like that dramatic or theatrical in real life, but I'm sure being from his memoir, that's probably how it felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like going down the stairs that way. He could have just been laying on the stairs and just not moving at all.
Yeah, right.
Trying to move.
But he thought he was.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like how he thought he drove down the street and woke up and he was like 15 yards away,
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think this movie did its job. It's great. It made a lot of money. I'm going to give it a 9 as well. I think it's awesome. The cast is great. Music's great. Time period, because it's based on a real thing. They do it well.
Yeah.
It's Scorsese, man.
Yeah, of course. It was great.
Yeah, dude. Take her away.
Do you want me to do the last one?
Do you want me to do my shout out? It's real quick while you're pulling up your notes.
Well, I have it right here.
Oh, go for it then.
This one is Love and Death.
Never heard of it.
It is an American biographical crime drama miniseries. Premiered on April 27, 2023.
So pretty new.
On HBO Max,
That's
starring Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, I love her.
And is based on a true story of Candy Montgomery, a housewife from Wiley, Texas. And it centers around Montgomery, who is living a stereotypical housewife lifestyle in the 1970s. And she has to go before a jury after an affair with her friend from church, which leads to a killing.
I do remember seeing trailers for this.
And this is her claiming that she didn't kill. I believe she killed. I can't remember. She killed the wife, I think. The wife of the man. Because she was coming after her for having an affair with her husband. And then she defends herself.
Tale as old as time. What?
Defends herself.
Tale as old as time, man.
Yeah. But there's also a movie on this starring Jessica Biel. And it's on Hulu. And that one's pretty good too. But as the show goes...
What's the movie called?
It's called Candy.
Yeah, never heard of
Candy Montgomery.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But the show is really good. And I think all the shows that I picked mainly is because of the actors that portrayed these characters are great actors, and they really portrayed these people very well. And Elizabeth Olsen,
yeah, that's all you got to say.
always.
For the people listening, he's basically doing the like chef's kiss little okay hand sign for Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, I haven't seen this one either. Maybe I should check it out.
You gotta watch more TV.
You gotta watch more
dude.
movies.
I've seen a good amount of movies, dude.
From my list,
I've seen Zodiac. I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, and I've seen Man on the Moon.
Okay.
So there's one movie I haven't seen.
Let me give you another one. Last night. Because I was
Gladiator 2.
No, that's not based on true. But last night I threw a movie on. I've been waiting for it to come out for streaming. Came out on Netflix. Awesome. So I didn't have to pay extra for it. Based on true events. Saturday night. So
right.
In the 2 hours leading up to the first episode of Saturday Night Live, everything that they had to go through, this movie stressed me out in all the best ways. I can't imagine. I mean, I saw it now, but I can't imagine like being in those hallways or in those rooms with all these people trying to get this show that had never been done before, like this thing that had never been done before going. I think the casting was awesome. A lot of people did great.
My question was, how did they go about casting all these iconic characters?
Yeah, so some of the people did excellent. Like, I couldn't have picked anyone better based on my own knowledge, you know. But like Dylan O'Brien, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He plays Dan Aykroyd.
Really?
And he does great.
Really?
I was like, that seems like Dan Aykroyd.
Really?
Like, yeah. I don't remember most of their names because it was late when I finished the movie. The actor who plays Lorne Michaels. The only problem I had there is like you always hear stories of Lorne being like really hard to please, but really hard to work with. But at least in this movie, based on wherever they get their knowledge from, he seemed really driven and really like.
Well, it's the first episode,
right?
Though.
So things change, right? People change. But I thought his performance was honestly stellar. It's the movie follows him and he's the producer of the show and creator of Saturday Night, right? Willem Dafoe's in it. J.K. Simmons is in it. This is a deep cut. You've seen the movie Sky High? You know the kid who glows? That's his superpower, is he glows? The blonde kid, tall one. Don't remember his name.
Yeah.
He's in it. He plays
Really?
Andy Kaufman.
Really?
And he plays Jim Henson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I highly recommend it.
Deep
If you
cut.
Yeah, deep cut. I couldn't think of like anything more relevant. But yeah, you have Netflix, check it out. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't need to talk about it more since it's a new movie. But it is based on true events. The guy who plays Chevy Chase, I don't know. I'm gonna look it all up for you and we'll talk about it later, but I didn't want to like stop the momentum here, you know what I mean? Right. And pull it up, which I should have just done earlier before we started going.
Well, I was talking.
Yeah, something like that.
Or yeah, whatever.
Oh, look, I pulled it up. It was that quick. Can you believe it?
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. So Gabriel LaBelle plays Lorne Michaels. Corey Michael Smith. This guy, look, if you see his face, you'll be like, yeah, I know. You should take your mic off. This guy? Yeah, he plays Chevy Chase. Yeah, Dylan O'Brien, Dan Aykroyd. Matt Wood plays John Belushi, and I think he did amazing. Lamorne Morris.
Oh, he's great.
Who else we got? Finn Wolfhard's in it.
Was he Chris Rock?
No, Chris Rock wasn't in there in the 70s.
I don't know, dude.
He plays Garrett Morris. Nicholas Braun. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. This guy. He was in the Minutemen. Now it doesn't want to work. Now it doesn't want to pull up. That guy.
Wow.
Yeah, he plays Andy Kaufman and Jim Henson.
That's crazy.
And he does great. Like, he honestly did so good. I'm trying to get back to the Saturday night IMDb that I just pulled up. But this movie came out last year.
Last year?
Yeah,
like late last year?
Yeah, late last year. It was. Oh, this says just 2024. October 4th, 2024.
So just a couple months ago.
For us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cast is awesome. There's people that were on the first episode of Saturday Night Live that are different characters in the show, in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, highly recommend it if you're into anything like that. It's directed by Jason Reitman. You're like, I don't know who that is.
I don't.
Right? Let me give you a little taste of some other movies he did. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire.
Haven't watched that yet.
Tully, Whiplash.
Nice.
There's so many more I'm trying to find. Jennifer's Body.
Nice.
Yeah, Up in the Air. Jeff Who Lives at Home, Young Adult. Yeah. Do I think Saturday Night was a perfect movie? No. Do I think it did what it was supposed to do? Yes. I'm going to give it a 7.
Nice.
There we go. I added it. I did some research on the fly.
I don't think I rated Love and Death.
Yeah, rate it.
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Nice. Was the extra 0.5 for Elizabeth Olsen?
I'll give it an 8.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. That's our list of movies and TV shows that were based on true events.
Yeah.
We have anything else?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Again, not documentaries, just dramatized versions of the things we were talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, everything that we put on our list are like our top choices in this genre, in this field.
Honorable mention,
You got one?
show about Ted Bundy with Zac Efron.
Yeah, and then watch it.
That was great too.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
The one I took off my list was 1917.
I have not watched it, but I've been wanting to watch
It's
it for
one of my favorites.
Literally since it came out.
I have it on Blu-ray. I'll let you borrow it. You're like, I don't have a Blu-ray player.
I do, actually. It's somewhere in here. and I have it on Vudu.
Watch it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Is it long? Is it slow?
Yes, but intentionally slow in some parts. And then when it gets to when it picks up, dude, you're like, can it slow down again, please?
Yeah.
Because it gets so intense.
So every time I want to watch that movie, it's been, almost bedtime. If it's too slow, I will fall asleep and not finish
put
the
it on.
movie.
You're gonna finish it. The reason I took it off though is because it's based on multiple stories and accounts from World War I, not a specific one. It is just the writer and director was talking to their grandfather about World War I and like kind of just made this fictionalized mission. Watch it.
Okay.
Seriously, it's so good.
All right. Yeah.
Cool. What about you guys? Do you guys have any real life based movies or TV shows that we should watch? We should add to our list. Did we miss any of your favorites? Let us know in the comments.
I'll watch them.
I
don't know about Brandon.
I don't got a lot going on.
But I'll watch them.
I got a lot going on.
People are like, how do you have time to watch stuff? And I'm like, dude, I prioritize watching shows and movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's just that's how I decompress.
Yeah, and see, mine's different. It's usually like I play video games for an hour or something. Yeah. It's just really weird because I don't sleep.
Right.
Like ever. I haven't slept since I was 16.
Right.
Like at all. I've been awake since I was 16.
Yeah. That's crazy.
No, I sleep 6 hours a night, honestly.
Yeah.
But a lot of that time I spend like on my computer or drawing on my iPad or...
You know what I started doing? And I know it's hard with like your situation, but like my situation now here at home. I eat dinner earlier, so I have time to watch a movie or a couple episodes of a show during dinner.
Yeah.
And I go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
And At first, it was really hard for me to go to bed early because I was like,
Oh yeah.
I lay down for bed at a certain time and I would stay awake till 11 anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was now I'm just ranting, but I think the consistency of getting in bed at the same time every day,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just started falling asleep earlier
Mm-hmm.
and earlier and easier.
Yeah.
And I've also been more active, so I'm just like, as soon as I get home, like,
Yeah. See, I'm pretty active at work all day. You
Yeah.
know, lots of moving and twisting and bending and snapping.
oh, I know. Oh, I know.
But I typically get to bed around 11:30, and I wake up by 6.
Mm.
So I'm asleep by midnight, wake up at 6, and then I don't go to work till like 10. So I got like 3 hours in the morning,
Yeah.
and that's when I've been fitting in movies and shows. It's just that little time period before I got to leave for work.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching Severance because season 2 just started. Watching Shrinking because season 2 finally finished being released weekly. Stupid Apple. But yeah, watch some good shows. There's lots of content out there to watch. You got anything else?
No, I watched like 6 movies this week alone.
That's
But
crazy.
we're
to
not
me.
talking about it. But
We're over budget already.
thank you for listening to BJ in the morning.
Be sure to follow us on all social medias. You know, the camera one, the video one, and those two, right? The camera, the picture one, the video one, the other video one.
And
So Instagram and TikTok, you can follow us at
BJ in the morning _
If you want to watch longer form content like videos of the podcast, or you could see us sitting in this chair and him in that chair and in this room with all the lights, and we forgot to turn the sun on. You can watch that on YouTube at
BJ in the morning podcast.
and then make sure if you're listening to us on any of your favorite podcast listening apps that you're leaving us 5-star reviews. Seriously.
Please.
Help us out.
It helps.
It helps us out. Get us out there on the charts.
And you can leave comments now.
You can leave comments on Spotify. I don't know about Apple. We don't look at Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
We probably should.
We
If you're listening to us on Apple, go to Instagram or YouTube and leave a comment saying, "Hey, I listen on Apple," and then we'll be like, "That person
listens on Apple."
And then tell all your friends about us. We got 2 people this week that texted me and said, "Hey, I told someone else about your show."
Really?
And they love it. And I was
Really?
like, hell yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
awesome.
believe you. I don't believe
I'm
you.
serious. I'm serious.
Screenshots or it didn't happen.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening to BJ in the Morning this week. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And
We will talk to you next time.